Hey YouTube, so I'm making this as a little bit of a channel update and a life update. For anyone that may have noticed, I changed the name. Essentially, a couple friends and I kind of noticed that the local car scene around us was pretty much dying. Yeah, you had people that had nice stuff, but they would never do anything. Nobody ever organized anything. And so we decided to basically make a couple pages and, try to put stuff out there for people so people knew, hey, there's still things going on. There's events and stuff going on. We're going to eventually start setting up our own. But, so I decided, hey, better way to reach out to people is make YouTube videos of us going to meets and races and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what that's about. I recently found out my wife and I are expecting a child, so that's another thing. It's very exciting. So obviously, I'm gonna have to rely on other people for a lot of content for meets and stuff like that. I have a couple local guys that I'll support them and because they're going to be going to a lot more stuff than I am. But when I go to things, I'm going to be uploading them on here. And then obviously the main reason you're coming here is drag racing. Virginia Motorsports Park had eBay Motors test and tune this weekend. Some guys and I went up there just to see what we could pop off. And so yeah, I got a bunch of videos from that. Shout out to Alex. Before I get into this, there was 3 Alexes there, so it was very difficult for us to specify who was being spoken to. But yeah, shout out to Alex for getting the video for me. And here we go. So in this one, I was the first one to go up out of the group of us that went. I got lined up next to a Turbo Fox body. He ran, I think it was like an 11.2. And I ran a 13.6, which this was the first time I've ran the car since Rockingham. And Rockingham, I didn't have the throttle cable adjusted right after I put the new intake manifold and new throttle body on. Honestly, it's silly that it even happened that way, but I wasn't aware how to adjust it, and it took me months to find out how to do it. I didn't even know that, like, I didn't know how it worked. Apparently on F bodies that have cruise control, you have little adjusters that you have to like squeeze and it'll adjust it. But anyways, so I finally figured that out, and this has been like months that I went on like that, and I finally have the car somewhat running right, and that's basically my biggest reason. I want to know what time I could run with it. Anyways, so I ran a 13.6, and yeah, here we go. So in this one, my buddy Tim brought his Boss 302 up, and he was kind of struggling this weekend. He'd never really been to a drag strip before, and so he was kind of having to learn how to launch the car, and that was the hardest thing for him. But the funny thing is he got lined up beside this really fast S10, and he ended up running like a 15 something. It was rough. But I was like, well, if it makes you feel any better, this guy red lit. So even though he was really fast, technically, if this was the race, you would have won. But here's that video. So in this one, Alex and Dakota got lined up. Dakota had a really hard time until the end of the day figuring his car out, because a lot of people with 6 gens, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm about to get into, they go, and when they go and race, they set it up on track mode. The problem is track mode on the 1LEs and the ZL1s is set up for road course racing. So if you lose traction, it kills it like that. And what he found out from a guy named Nick with a ZL1 that was there was that you have to set it on sport mode, and it won't kill power like it does on track mode. But so Alex and Dakota ran together, and it was funny because Alex had never been to a drag strip either. And so he gets up there and he starts trying to do launch control after he's already staging. Like, he's already gotten there, he's got both the bulbs lit up, and Dakota gets both the bulbs lit up. So then Alex is trying to figure out his launch control on his SDI, and the tree starts dropping, and then he finally looks up and the light's already green and Dakota's already left. So that's this video. So in this one, I ran my personal best of the day, which was a 13.5. And I was lined up beside this truck. And it was funny because the truck was camming really hard in the staging lanes. And so I'm just like, I'm about to be either embarrassed by a truck or this is about to be a really good race. And so I actually had a better reaction time than them, but then they also ended up running to 14. And, I was actually feeling pretty good. I wanted this car to get into the 12s, but, I also know I've got a 323 rear end. I've got another rear end that I'm trying to build for. It's just I haven't had the time to get to it. It's because I'm building an 8.8 for it with 410s. But, and I need a torque converter too. Because right now I'm on a stock converter, so I'm leaving on like no RPM. But anyways, so that's this one.
So once again, Slick Tire Cars. Slick Tire will take you to 7 and 8. Slick Tire Cars will take you to 7 and 8. Juniors will take you to 1 and 2. Juniors will take you 1 and 2. Juniors 1 and 2.
So in these next two, Alex got lined up with, I want to say it was an older Falcon. I can't remember for sure. It was pretty quick. He did a lot better in this one. He ended up running a 14.6, I think. Or no. He ran a 14.1 is what it was. He got a lot better. He got his launch a lot better, but then I think he short shifted or something like that. And then Dakota ran this BMW, and he ended up running a little bit quicker than I did the first time. And he outran that guy. So in this one, Tim ended up running a new Supra, which was pretty quick. I think it ran like a 12.7. I'm not 100% sure. He did a little bit better. He ended up running like a 14.6, something like that. But he kept short shifting. I feel like he could have got better time. He got his launch a little bit better, but not much. And that's this one. So here, Dakota got his best time of the day. He ran a 13.1, and you know, as I said earlier, he figured out, he learned from that other guy. He was supposed to do the whole sport mode instead of track mode thing. He spun really hard at the line. I feel like if he hadn't done that, he probably could have broken to the 12s. But I mean, it was a great run, and that honestly got him motivated the rest of the day. But we left not shortly after that. Poor Tim. He lined up next to this really fast 6th gen Camaro. This guy was running like, I think he ran a 10 earlier in the day. I can't remember for sure. I know he was running 11s consistently. Yeah, this thing was quick, and it was naturally aspirated. But he bogged really hard at the line and ended up running a really bad time with this. He was getting better throughout the day, but this one, it was just a rough start for him, and it just kind of killed the whole thing. And then finally, this last race was me and Alex. So it was Alex and Alex racing each other. I'm not sure what exactly happened here. I don't know if I spun. I also know if you listen very closely, you can hear I just barely hit limiter. So I don't know if I waited too long to shift, or if when I did, it just didn't quite go yet, and then it hit in that one time and then shifted, and that killed my time or something. But I ended up running a 13.7 at 105. Wow, Alex did a great run, and he ended up running a 13.6 at 102. But I had a much better reaction time. I actually had the best reaction time I've ever had. It was a .048, and he had like a .458 or something like that. But he's got all-wheel drive, so we left pretty close. And I think I might have spun, but I'm not sure. But anyways, even though I had a slower time than him, I still beat him to the line. I'm still not quite sure what happened there, but like I said, I know for a fact I need more gear, and I need a converter in that car, because I'm not leaving on good. I'm having to hold it at like just under 2,000 RPM, because otherwise it starts pushing through. But here we go. And that's it for this video. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do more, and I mean, I'm gonna try to go to more. It's gonna be a lot harder once I end up having 2 kids in the house, but you know, I mean, it is what it is at that point. That being said, you know, like I said, I have other guys that I'm gonna refer to for other videos, and I'm gonna share their stuff on here. I'm gonna share their stuff on Instagram, so just keep an eye out. For anybody who doesn't know, my Instagram is lsxalex252, and then the Instagram for the car page is 252 Street Scene. So y'all have a nice day. We'll see you in the next one.